Welcome to Judge of Ghana TV. Akwa Baba, Judge of Ghana TV so.
You know what Fedorov's going to do when he secures the presidency? Change the world. Russia's going to join NATO. Why? Because I got my hand so far up his ass, I'm moving his lips. I own him.
What is happening to African leaders, especially? And this thing whittles down to political parties. It's about power and control. Who you can puppet. It looks like leaders want to control other leaders. The West wants to control Africa. Hmm? And in turn, the leaders of political parties in Africa, those who become the leaders, those who are elected as the leaders of political parties, want to puppet everyone, even those who have the potential to overthrow them. They want to puppet them from the beginning. They want to have so much power. They become like 10 gods. And this is what we're seeing in politics in Africa and within political parties within Africa, especially Ghana. If you look at what is happening in the new patriotic party in the Republic of Ghana, this is it. It appears Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is vying to become the new tin god of new patriotic party, taking over the mantle of ex-former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This is what is happening. And so he wants to shut everybody's mouth. And if you look at the history of what happened to Honorable Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen and how he was ousted, I have it on good reports or good information that the undermining of Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen started many, many, many years before those who were vying to become flag bearers of New Patriotic Party were permitted to collect the flag bearership forms. They started undermining Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen years ahead of collecting the ballot papers. And it is clear that Honorable Kennedy Agyapong is aware of this and is doing everything possible to make sure that they can't undermine him by using official language. You're not permitted to do this or permitted to do that. Look, we're living in the era of freedom of speech. You cannot stamp all over people and basically put plaster on the mouths of people. And this is what Dr. Bawumia and his surrogates are trying to do. Let's continue.
Mami mamu abakosem kakra bi. Onim obi a wodi MPP edi anim abra na Rollins ewo ha obi entimi nkasa eye Professor Boahen. Ono your friend culture of silence ono no otimi breaki that time obi entimi nkasa obi esro Rollins Boahen ene nya kukuduro standing up to Rollins till 1992 that the Boahen koi onu kura no okokuma ye no okoya ni modern mo answer ni no ya mfra nkobiem obi a mpeso aka no kura kire wa oduru wa ozio President Kufuor Komienu, Akufo-Addo Komiansa. Adu Boahen wakosai. Okosai. Mesramo enne biaba ye fi. Mama ma yen to ensam a enya nokura egu yafem. Efe me sramo abokosem. Nientia President Kufuor yadini call second term ni say the first time or the only 4 months between 3 to 4 months and what the year campaign. Now vote to President Kufuor nyaya within that 4 months no and yes and no. Ebesa de nako. Enunti and ya the President Kufuor esa for second term. We need there is a reason. 4 months our year campaign the performance enunti ni esa the President Kufuor ekor. Ebiem oh ena Akufo-Addo comprensa Akufo-Addo call first one onya 49.3%. When Timmy and Crossu 50 nunti, and I saw call second round, and also a pie, a time, and I decided here, Emma, Professor Mills, and ya 23,000 votes, and the president. Into a beer person or cultural say, Yansa, my assume a sin copy a moi, on Kabakosam. I'm will be NTA. Akufo-Addo esa court 2012 no. What we need and when we are a court, Mamuti decision and was aka so there. Meaning some we need, but some see nyamina me respect court no into young court. Ya hwe Akufo-Addo performance the first time, second time, and you didn't call the third time. It is also a big performance. Now to me lose over 2 million. Na ya sabe ka tira se mo fani panenko. Na mayedi but emre ni du wa no kura dia be ka mo mate. No kura no dia ya be ka mo mate. Se mo power Ghana for say Mudi Agyapong ba ya betu amamo. Musa kwakem fia 9 fia nwotwebiem. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Mama yentie nia efomfo ka. Mama yentie nia Ghana fo ka. Asori dey amuwamu wo mu kasai. E ka uki. Asori dey amuwamu wo mu kura wo ma betu no e kire so wo mu kasai. If you some kind one tier, I was say some one tier, Mobajimu Jajireje, and the Aji Jajireje.
You should do why you clear a person. Okay, you will tax issues. Okay. I think we will want some benefit be a carry on, but I think we need to set a record. Kennedy is working against MPP. Let me flat. For sure, anytime be a NDC, no other than a distraction. And now, one video need be now, boss, Aqua Biasia or Kasam. There is a clear, we say, no, be the movie and come. The same person, Tiasalet and also by time of visiting Kumasi and no Mugraban. Banner Yatro 2028. I think elections in a fair internal elections Yabeko Obiabin. But Usha Noma Ken Ayenu is always to protect the NDC more than the MPP. One, the 11 in Sensemi Moma Akoso. Ken Abua
So if you think a distraction, don't follow the distraction. So we have to discuss the tactics and let Ghanaians know.
MVP before I say, yeah, forget that distraction. prepare for the demonstration of the hardship now. Who to MPP? Kennedy has said, who should Brian? Who should Kennedy? Wow. Kennedy has said, the same
the young country 10 people they have invested in. Rebecca said they are young self. In Tufa Brian, the young self. Or yet, Mebunu. Over Kennedy, I mean, then Rebecca said you have invested in society. But when you little girlfriends, little mouth for benefited in the party, then, Jeremy, that one who said Brian, and I Kennedy Babi a demonstration. And I be an aircraft now, Ubi Kakofan, Makoka, never me present, name the same points. Say, Ubaba, the Nebunu say, ye did now you are the man, people who said that book. They will be fair to the past. See, I'm saying this because Honorable Agyapong, I don't think what can be and our baby a good party give by into the security. I've not seen him done any. In fact, for a very long time, what I've done in politics, I've never seen Agyapong say all your baby to drag MPP party in the man. So, look, maybe I'm a say. Send this for you again and ya. When the Nimna catch him say, and this for moonlights and politicians. And if about 17 years to be, Brian Agyapong, and you will be able to drag the party's name to this repeating. I will plead with you, say, take him out. Okay, so I'm addressing the issue. There were platforms. Say, Utia will be school fees. And I will be near a year. Say, oh, the back corner. Hey, near see a back how the party helped you. That is where I'm coming from. They are on platforms as screenshot. They are roasting for say because they are not supporting Ubika Levita because Wabua only Paco school. Anything Americans are asking. But they say, dear, can AI a distraction to our party? Just say, baby, I dinner. I see a facing of NDC with the new E-levy now, E-levy go, E-levy come. And the pain that E-levy is going to happen. The Ekosu, the oil marketing companies, I see a focus on. Why do you go for a funeral and go that tangent to make the government have a leeway of doing things? Because you're not social media, your WhatsApp groups. Why? Let me tell you. Omwa party. Any delegates able vote here in fact, as you go through process, near certain strategies, changing systems, more of re-strategizing. A lot of people might even move out of the delegates. Process, then the process to elect will come. Finding ways to unite our base and stop this attack. Say, baby, I'm a team. Nobody can tell me, say, Felix, no man, so the wound to me or the year Brian. Ken had a platform, Kobe to me, a catcher and a banner say, Unyai, or say, or anything, special operations. And they be a when they say special, it means you take direct instructions from the person who gives you. And he say, ne boss namsawe, no so namsawe. Nobody can tell me say a coincidence, a well orchestrated plan. And you focus on building our party and working to ensure that the NDs who has got nothing to offer
Welcome, and if you like this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you could like, share, comment, and subscribe, making sure you press the notification bell. In this episode of Judge of Ghana, we're going to cover 4 areas. Firstly, Kennedy Agyapong and his surrogates versus Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and his surrogates. Secondly, we're going to talk about the fact that Sam George has been gracious enough. The communications minister of Ghana, Sam George, has reduced the cost of data and increased data bundles for Ghanaians. And it's starting on the 1st of July. So we're going to talk a bit about that. And then we're going to talk about the Ken Ofori-Atta family letter. We'll just talk briefly about that. And then fourthly, we'll talk about the nurses' strike in Ghana. And last and not least, it looks like the special prosecutor and the national security are ramping up their raids because the SML, Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited offices in Osu and Tema were raided earlier today, which is Tuesday, the 10th of June 2025. So these are the 5 areas we're going to cover today. So, as you saw in the video that started this episode, you heard from Honorable Kennedy Agyapong in response to Dr. Bawumia's underhand comments urging New Patriotic Party MPP delegates to vote for him again in 2028. If anybody tries to say that they haven't started campaigning yet, like Chairman Coker is saying on Movement TV, you've seen the video as well. And it's Kennedy Agyapong that is damaging the New Patriotic Party. Nukrenie New Patriotic Party atitia pansam dada. Enye Kennedy na yeye. Na the mismanagement, 8 years of mismanagement of Dr. Alhaji Mahmudu Bawumia, the former Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, together with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, former president. The bad governance of 8 years is the reason why things have just gone south. And he said, surrogates of Dr. Bawumia, MPP, New Patriotic Party surrogates, Adena Moyen Emfa, it will not stand. Because maybe you still haven't pinched yourself and come out of your dream. Diana, you still think you're dreaming. Maybe it could be Obinya Nemio. Diana Meswa Obinya Nemio. Yes, I think that's what's happening to New Patriotic Party. They are in shock. And they think they are still dreaming. But this is how it is on earth in reality. With the foam team, the elephant is lying down flat while shares. And your only hope is Kennedy or Agyapong, honorable. With the foam team, maybe no one has told you. You are deluding yourself that Dr. Bawumia can come in 2028 and do something. It's a blatant lie. Blatant lie. Don't deceive yourself. Dr. Bawumia, if you could have made it, it would have been 2024. And he failed woefully. Woefully. There, Dr. Bawumia here, no. He failed abysmally. Abysmal failure. You don't reward failure. Especially abysmal failure is not rewarded anywhere. Enka ye ko exams enka wenya the lowest F in the history of the exam. That's what Dr. Bawumia has achieved in the last election. Don't delude yourself that Dr. Bawumia has got a chance. Share Ediaba Bonena Kennedy Aka. It's not like Kennedy organized the people at Mampong. It's the people that organized themselves and said, since Kennedy is in Mampong for Mampong's, the late Mampong's funeral, they would like him to come and talk to them in a particular church. And they organized themselves and called him to come and speak to them, which is the New Patriotic Party, MPP members in Mampong. Or should I say the delegates. There's something that my friend told me. Some of my friends are New Patriotic Party delegates. And one of them, I was complaining that I'm not really happy with New Patriotic Party. That was last year, early last year. And I'm not happy because I don't think the way they treated Honorable Alan John Kwejo Chermaten was right. And as I was speaking to him, he said, oh, well, Dr. Bawumia went underground early. So Dr. Bawumia, I can describe him, or many people describe Dr. Bawumia as a weasel, a worm. Many people have described Dr. Bawumia as a worm. He laughs, seems jolly, and he does snake under grass movements. Yes. Look at the settings he did the other day during Salah celebrations at his residence. He and Samira Bawumia's residence.
Mr. Showdown, there has been for a reason. And I'm just here with one message. A Dr. Bawumia presidency is inevitable. And no matter what the impediments are, we are going to work hard. So we are going to work so hard for him to get to the presidency because we believe in his vision. We believe in the vision that he's going to sell to the Ghanaian people, and we are going to dedicate all our resources, wherever we have, to supporting him. Once again, the Bawumia presidency is inevitable. It is coming. Pay attention.
Beautiful one there, beautiful one there.
He got a social influencer, Kojo Sheldon, to come and say a word for him. I don't know whether there was a fee involved, only God knows. But he got him to come and say a word for him. Yes. And it was trending the other day. So it's okay. When is Dr. Bawumia campaigning in 2025 for 2028 or 2026 New Patriotic Party internal elections? It's okay. If when he's doing it now, it's okay because he can get Kojo Sheldon, social influencer Kojo Sheldon, to come and speak for him, and that's okay. But when it's the boot is on the other foot, and Kennedy Agyapong is called on by Mampong New Patriotic Party members to come and speak to them, and he gives his understanding of the history of the New Patriotic Party, which is the accurate interpretation of what has happened since the life of the New Patriotic Party, since the early 90s, when he gives the history, the accurate history of New Patriotic Party and how they choose who the flag bearer will be, and they have chosen in the past, and what criteria. He gives the accurate, Kennedy Agyapong gave the accurate details. Somebody is angry. Bawumia supporters are angry, and they start insulting Kennedy. Look, Bawumia supporters are angry, and they start insulting Kennedy. Look, Kennedy is a louder than life character. He's a loud character. just like Donald Trump. They have the same energy. They were born in the same month of June. And some of their comments can be jarring. Their comments are so specific to the point. Sometimes they're almost rude. Donald Trump is almost rude. Has been so in the past. So if you see that similar traits in Kennedy, Agyapong, it's not surprising. It's the time of month they were born in. I have a sibling who was born in June, and he's very direct. He speaks truth. Sometimes the truth he speaks is so pinpoint that it can jar people. But that doesn't make him a bad person. In fact, that makes him a very good person, because he speaks truth. Sometimes truth is hard to swallow, but somebody has to say it. And to be honest, if you look at the rants in the past that Kennedy has done, he was doing it all in support of the New Patriotic Party. Yes. All the fights he had on social media with Ifya Schwarzenegger, it was all trying to support the New Patriotic Party. And you see, this is the problem with New Patriotic Party. They are a use and abuse and use and dump party at the moment, because it's people that make the party. The party in itself is just a name, but it's the current people in the party that make the party. And unfortunately, there are many rotten apples in the New Patriotic Party as it stands. If they weren't rotten, they won't be running helter-skelter, running from justice. To me, Bernard Entry Boesiako, Asante Regional Chairman, he's running helter-skelter. Ken Ofori-Atta, helter-skelter. So there are many more rotten apples who are being investigated by the national security and all the investigative bodies in Ghana. And you see, God is a wise God. He made sure that John Dramani Mahama has come between 2024 to 2028 to deal with corrupt people in the New Patriotic Party and also in the National Democratic Congress. That is what God wants John Dramani Mahama to do, to deal with these people. So, he's got work to do. And if he's doing his work and weeding out all the rotten apples in both New Patriotic Party and National Democratic Congress, who are hiding, politically exposed persons, hiding behind a political party. What is wrong with that? Is that Kennedy's fault? When they were doing their stealing, when they were doing their fraud, when they were doing their dishonest appropriation, when they were dishonestly stealing and moving funds around, where was Kennedy? So how can you blame Kennedy for the pitiful state of New Patriotic Party? Chairman Coker, you can't blame Kennedy for that, because he wasn't party to your criminal enterprises or the criminal enterprises of certain entities. I heard earlier today that allegedly Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, whom you are fighting for, is also being investigated by the authorities. The authorities. He's being investigated by the national security authorities. Yoko are investigating Dr. Alhaji Bawumia. So the person you are fighting for, Krampo, he's not clean. Clean hands. Yes. And you are complaining about Kennedy. Who has invited Kennedy to come and answer for corruption cases? He wasn't even involved in governance. He's a business person. If he won contracts or he acted as a subcontractor for people who won contracts under the erstwhile Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government, and he helped them to fulfill their contract and got paid for it. What is wrong with that? It's business. Yes. So there's nothing wrong with that. You can't, you see, a lot of people try to throw mud at Kennedy or Agyapong, but it doesn't stick. Because he has been very wise in the way he has moved. It's difficult to make things stick. Nobody is perfect. Everybody's got their faults. So yeah, Kennedy Agyapong has married, had babies with many women. So what? Even in the Bible, didn't Abraham, Father Abraham, in the Bible have many wives or concubines? Go and ask Solomon in the Bible. He was supposed to be a wise king, but look at the number of women he had: 300 wives and 700 concubines. So what has somebody's relationship with the opposite sex got to do with their ability to make wise decisions? A lot of people are having affairs, extramarital affairs, and they are still in leadership positions. And some of them have done it in the past, but we still accepted them as leaders. So that should not be a criteria to discount Kennedy or Agyapong. Your past cannot be used to judge your future. If that was the case, then we're all guilty, because God will say we all don't qualify for anything, because our past is not all of us, our pasts are glowing, and very few people have a glowing past. We all have our but. So if Kennedy has his but, and it's to do with having many baby mamas and many wives, so what? A lot of kings and chiefs have multiple wives. Muslims marry multiple. So what's the problem? What's the problem? He looks after his children. So there's no problem with that. So you can't use that against him. But you see, when somebody hates you, they'll even use your family and your situation against you, because they hate you. They hate you. Yeah. So with Kennedy, what Dr. Bawumia and the surrogates are saying, there are many of them. I just picked one, Chairman Coker. He's the same person that said the other day when Bernard Entry-Boisiakon, Chairman Wuntumi, was arrested by Yoko, that it was Kennedy behind it, because Alex Tete, the special advisor to director for Kennedy's campaign in the last, MPP flag bearership race, had come out and said he had provided information to the Yoko and other security services to investigate Chairman Wuntumi. Look, it takes people of courage to assist the authorities deal with rotten apples in the country. And what Alex Tete has done is a brave thing, because we live in a country where we don't even have a safety situation. We don't have any scheme or program for people to be kept safe when they become whistleblowers program where they can be kept safe. So after you whistleblow, you have to find a way to protect yourself so no harm comes to you, because we don't have a scheme that protects whistleblowers in Africa, in Ghana. So it takes a very bold person to come out and give details. Look, the Bible says in Proverbs 28, verse 1, the wicked run when no one is chasing them, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. If you know what the information you're providing to the investigative bodies in Ghana are accurate, you've got evidence to buttress what you're saying, and you are bold, as you'll be as bold as a lion. No one who's telling the truth is never bold. If what you're saying is the truth, you can stand on the top of the mountain and say it, because you know it's the truth. And there's nothing wrong with what Alex Tete has done. He has spoken truth. So if surrogates of Dr. Bawumia are not happy with the truth, well, there's no smoke without fire. We are watching this space. Time will tell whether Chairman Wontumi is innocent or not, because it is surely going to court. Only time will tell. So what Chairman Coker is doing is just vindictiveness. He has become the new Abronya DC. Yes, fighting against Kennedy Agyapong openly. See, it's like the party has divided. That is, how it is. There are factions that have arisen and supporting people, but there's nothing worse in this world than supporting a loser. And Dr. Bawumia is a loser. And a bad loser at it, because he can't even accept that he has lost and he doesn't have any opportunity in the future. And he just won't stop. He won't give up. Yes, at least Professor Boahen just gave up because he realized that it was a bad loss. Why won't Dr. Bawumia just give up? Why won't he give up? And I don't know what's wrong with some of these new Patriotic Party delegates. They seem to be very silly. Very silly. How can you rally behind? You see, I told you that in this country, it doesn't matter who you are, you get someone to support you. And this is what we're seeing. Even somebody who is not doing well, doesn't have a good integrity, has someone to follow them. This is Africa for you. This is Ghana for you. That is why things are not going well in this country. Anyway, let's move on.
I will also, at this point, commend the CEOs of the 3 telcos for their pledged commitment to collectively invest approximately $150 million in their networks between now and the end of the year to enhance quality of service, either by acquisition of spectrum or introduction or acquisition of new transmitters and equipment. At this juncture, I am pleased to announce that my engagement with the CEOs have resulted in the following specific measures, which are to take effect from Tuesday, 1st of July, 2025. Airtel Tigo Ghana, AT Ghana. A 10% increase in all data bundles currently offered by the network. Additionally, the 400 Ghana CD bundle, which currently offers 195 gigabytes of data, will now offer 236 gigabytes of data. Ghana Telecommunications Company Limited, Telecel. Also a 10% increase in all data bundles currently offered by the network. Their 400 Ghana CD bundle, which currently offers 90 gigabytes, will offer 250 gigabytes from 1st of July. Scancom Ghana Limited, MTN. A 15% increase in all data bundles currently offered by the network. And I'm pleased to announce the restoration of the 399 Ghana CD bundle, which currently has been changed to the 350 CD bundle that offers 92.88 gig, will henceforth be reinstated to 214 gig for 399 Ghana CD. I am aware these increases are going to come at considerable cost to the network operators. However, I am glad that our engagements and the consultations are bearing fruit for the Ghanaian people. To the CEOs, you have my gratitude. We have pledged our continued fidelity to the people of Ghana, who are the customers of the telcos. The implementation date of 1st of July is to allow the networks to recalibrate and reconfigure their systems to reflect the agreed upon value increases. The regulator, NCA, is directed to ensure they monitor strict implementations of this directive from 1st of July. Where failure applies, sanctions should be applied. The changes on MTN are steeper than the two other operators, but this is as a result of MTN's SMP status. The ministry is committed to continue to working with the regulator and MTN to constantly review their SMP status and make the necessary adjustments once we achieve the market realignments that we seek with these measures. It has also come to my notice that there is a public call regarding the arbitrary charge or change in data prices by the operators. Let me state for the record that the facts do not support that claim. The NCA has a billing verification system to access the billing integrities of mobile data services. The NCA reports that in the last billing integrity test conducted on mobile data bundles for MTN, Telecel, and AT in Q3 of 2024, it found that 1. All data bundles purchased during the test period were correctly credited and remained intact throughout their validity with no unexpected data losses. 2. Non-expiry data bundles did not expire. And 3. All unused data bundles were rolled over after resubscription. These are the facts from the NCA.
When it comes to Sam George, you've just seen the video. Sam George, the communications minister, has just announced that there have been significantly more data. Ghanaians are going to have significantly more data for their money from the mobile telephone companies, mobile networks. So all three mobile networks in Ghana, MTN, Airtel, Tigo, and Telecel, have agreed that from Tuesday, the 1st of July 2025, they are increasing their data, the quantum of their data bundles. So we're going to have more data for our money. Hooray! If you're a content creator like us. Hooray! So we are happy about that. Sam George is doing a sterling job, in his role. I can't talk about his car, unlicensed car and everything, but in terms of the output, in terms of his job at the communications ministry, he's doing very well. Ghana Web said on Monday, 9th of June 2025. The header is Ken Ofori-Atta's family petitions Interpol to remove red notice. Ken Ofori-Atta's family has accused the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, of abusing its authority, in which it describes as a premeditated vendetta against the former finance minister. The family said in a statement issued on Monday, 9th June, that the OSP's actions violated due process, constitutional rights, and international law, and that they also denounced the Interpol red notice. On the grounds that the red notice was obtained using falsified evidence and omitted medical information, they have formally petitioned the Commission for the Control of Interpol's Files, CCF, and the National Central Bureau to have it immediately deleted. OSP manipulated evidence for arrest warrant. The family claims that the arrest warrant for Ofori-Atta, which was issued on February 11th, 2025, on the grounds of using public office for private profit, was obtained in unusual circumstances and lacked an affidavit to substantiate it. They contend that no official accusations have been brought against Ofori-Atta in spite of the warrant. Additionally, they asserted that the OSP's designation of Ofori-Atta as a fugitive from justice was initially announced during a press briefing. They assert that this action lacked legal support and is currently being considered by the Human Rights Court, which is scheduled to render a decision on June 18th. Running from surgery, not justice. According to the family, Ofori-Atta has been receiving treatment at the Mayo Clinic in the United States for cancer that was discovered earlier this year after COVID-19 problems. He had requested a video recorded interview rather than an in person presence due to physical limitations, and he was slated for surgery on June 13, 2025. Rather than respecting the medical records shared and permitting a virtual engagement as permitted under law, the OSP chose to portray a man scheduled for surgery as a fugitive, the family said. According to the statement, the OSP staged what they dubbed as a public lynching to degrade Ofori-Atta purposefully, hiding medical evidence and rejecting any offer of remote cooperation. Legal action and human rights challenge. The family said that on June 3rd, a fresh lawsuit was filed contesting the validity of the arrest warrant and the actions of the OSP. They also want to know if the OSP told Interpol about the cancer diagnosis, ongoing legal cases, or medical records before the red notice was requested. Had these been disclosed, the Interpol filing would have violated Articles 2 and 3 of its constitution, which protect the rights to health and prohibit political abuse, the family argued. Vendetta, not justice. The family summed up their worries by accusing the OSP of using its mission as a political spectacle, pointing to a long number of procedural errors that included evidence suppression, administrative justice, and human rights breaches. Mr. Ofori-Atta has never fled from accountability. He stood firm before Shraj, Parliament, and ECOWAS court inquiries and was cleared each time. The statement noticed. The statement noted, "This is not justice, this is vengeance." They expressed their confidence that Ofori-Atta will be vindicated and confirmed that he returned to Ghana to face any legal investigation after his treatment and recuperation are over. "We are confident that Mr. Ofori-Atta's rights will be restored, and when these investigations are completed, he'll be acquitted in full view of our entire nation, and justice will find the Hammonds." Ken Ofori-Atta has been officially listed on Interpol's Red Notice database following a renewed request by the Office of the Special Prosecutor (OSP). The move comes amidst ongoing corruption investigations and intensifies efforts to bring the former minister to justice. The Red Notice, made public on June 5th, 2025, describes Ofori-Atta as a 65-year-old Ghanaian male born on November 7, 1959, in Accra. He is 1.7 meters tall, with black hair and black eyes, and speaks both English and Twi. According to Interpol, he is wanted on the charge of using public office for profit. The OSP believes he is currently in the United States receiving medical treatment and is seeking international assistance to locate and provisionally arrest him pending extradition or voluntary surrender. This marks the second time the former minister has been declared a wanted person by the OSP. In February 2025, he was labeled a fugitive from justice for failing to appear before investigations after being summoned in relation to several high profile corruption cases. These include matters linked to the controversial National Cathedral project and a revenue assurance deal with Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML. So there we have it. That's what the content of the letter that was made public by the Ofori-Atta family seeks to achieve. That is their perspective. I beg to differ. Let's carry on. Now, let's move on to the Ofori-Atta family letter. Wow. The family of Ken Ofori-Atta have come out to support their family member. But who share letter now? Who need tea and anato? You don't understand where the top of the letter is or the bottom of the letter is. It doesn't make sense to me. Let it make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Ken Ofori-Atta is running. No matter what his family have written in their letter, it is obvious for all of us to see, because it doesn't take a letter for us to know that Ken Ofori-Atta is running from the office of the special prosecutor and knows that the charges that will be put on him will have some semblance of truth because they have evidences. The special prosecutor has evidences, and we know of things we have seen with our own eyes. The $58 million hole of the National Cathedral. The monies were authorized by Ken Ofori-Atta. So if you're being questioned on these financial boops and you're running away, and you're telling us through your family's letter that you're not running away, are we going to believe that? Why should the office of the special prosecutor bend over backwards for you, Ken Ofori-Atta? If it was you or me that had done what Ken Ofori-Atta had done, do you think the special prosecutor or any of the investigative bodies will bend over backwards for us? Nobody will care. And by now, they've thrown us into remand, into cells, and they've thrown the keys away. So now that the boot is on the other foot, which is on you, a politically exposed person in Ken Ofori-Atta, you are running. And you're talking trash to the people of Ghana through your family's letter. Look, this letter from Ken Ofori-Atta's family is inconsequential. Nkosiaga. It doesn't have any legs. That is my opinion. It doesn't have legs because Ken Ofori-Atta has not been truthful. If he was truthful, he would have immediately his so-called operation in March was rescheduled or had been cancelled. He would have informed the special prosecutor. The guy is running, and there's so many inconsistencies in his story. It is amazing. Anyway, let's move on.
Ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Midwives Association, the Ministry of Health on Monday night held an emergency meeting at its headquarters in Accra. The objective was to review the association's conditions of service and reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Speaking to Channel 1 News, Vice President of the GRNMA, Samuel Akogo Alakra, disclosed that the ministry cited budgetary constraints as the main reason for the delay in meeting their demands. He further revealed that government proposed deferring the conditions of service calendar to 2026, an offer the association has rejected as unfair and unacceptable.
This meeting, our employers made some proposals, and we were told that there was no budget provision for it. And what they wanted us to agree on was to push the implementation to 2026. This is not fair. It is not fair because those arrears has already been accrued, and they are properties of the nurse and midwives in Ghana. The public has been lambasting us, some sections of the public, that we are impatient. But today's meeting has revealed that, they were actually not ready for us.
He emphasized that the strike remains in full effect unless the GRNMA's National Council decides otherwise.
We roll out a series of actions, and as at this morning, nothing changed. So the action is still rolling.
Meanwhile, spokesman for the Ministry of Health, Tony Goodman, says the ministry remains committed to dialogue and is open to further proposals and feedback from the leadership of the association.
We are open to any discussion. We are not saying that whatever position we are holding is what they should take. They may also have their own position. We will look at it and see where necessary we adjust. That is what negotiation is about.
Meanwhile, the vice president of the association, speaking on Eyewitness on CTFM, reiterated that the association has not been served with an injunction from the National Labour Commission despite an attempt to do so.
The nurses' strike in Ghana. As far as I'm concerned, this is a case of self-interest. They're only interested in themselves, but we're all privy to the fact that, because it's quite clear that since the National Democratic Congress government of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, has come into force, we can see that things are a lot better. At least betting taxes no more, e-levies no more, and prices have come down. Fuel prices have come down significantly. The dollar has depreciated against the Ghana cedi. The Ghana cedi has appreciated. And we can see that some of the transport fares have come down a bit. So even some food prices have come down. The price of rice has come down. A bag of rice is now cheaper than before. So there's been some positives since the government of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, came to power. So, and this should be felt by everybody. This is felt by everybody. It's not just a few. It's felt by everybody. So there's a bit of relief for everybody. Everybody feels a bit of relief. So for the nurses to go on strike, the leadership of the nurses are obviously fighting against the government, and they're thinking about themselves. So the only way forward is to sit at the negotiation table with them, which I believe the health ministry and the health minister and the finance ministry have decided that's the best way forward and come to some agreement. But clearly, there's a bit of, it smacks of sabotage. Smacks of sabotage. So let's leave it there. With regards to the SML offices being raided by, I'm told, according to the report I heard on Joy News, they didn't have full details, but it's a breaking story. Both the Office of the Special Prosecutor and National Security were involved in these raids, and they carried off documents and arrested 3 directors in the Tema office of SML, which is Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. They took away documents, and they also arrested and took away 3 directors of SML at the Tema office. So it looks like the investigative bodies of the Republic of Ghana are swooping left and right on anybody who there's an inkling of dishonesty, stealing with regards fraud. They're doing their job. So all we can say is that kudos to them, and they should continue, because we have to weed out all the fraudsters and all the criminals from the system so that the monies can be retrieved and can be used to better the lot of all the people. This is the only way that Ghana can go forward and excel. This concludes this episode of Judge of Ghana. As usual, if you like this type of content, I'd like you to like, share, subscribe, press that notification bell, and certainly comment. As I always tell you, if you go to kofi.com/coachwright, I have some freebies for you there. If you look in the description below, the links are found there as well, so you can click and go there and download the freebies. And obviously, if you like to contribute to my work, feel free to contribute via kofi.com/coachwright. As I always say when I conclude all episodes, Ghana first, always. See you in the next episode. Bye for now. Bye. Father God, you're the judge of Ghana.